He wanted them to get a perspective that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Guys, the same thing needs to be true with us. With the stuff that we've gone through that is tough. You know, it's interesting, in Romans 8:28, it says, "For we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love him and to those who are called according to his purpose." So when we love and obey God, it says God works all things together for good. So guys, that means God has the capability, not some, but all the bad stuff that has been a part of our life, he has the opportunity to be able to take that and use that in a positive way in our life. See, the reason that's important is sometimes we think our problems are bigger than God. Sometimes we think that maybe something we've done in the past that has been bad is somehow Christ can't take care of that on the cross, and nothing could be further from the truth. So because of that, we have to be able to see that big picture. We're kind of back to that proverbial, you know, where you've got the story of the blind guy and the elephant. All right, so you kind of got this going on. Depending on where that guy is, you got a fan, a wall, a rope, a spear, a snake, a tree, because of where they're touching. He wants them to be able to step back and see the big picture. So let's try and do that, all right? We're talking again about taking that bad thing and turning it into a future good. Past bad, future good. Now, there's no question, based on what's going on here. I mean, Joseph had been through some tough stuff, horrible, horrible stuff. And so he could look at these guys and say, guys, I've been through awful stuff, and I know what you're going through right now is really bad, but I kind of been there, done that. And it can be okay. Later on in chapter 50 of the book of Genesis, verse 20, a statement is made there where Joseph said, what the enemy meant for evil, God has used for good to preserve life. He was trying to give them a perspective that they shouldn't quit. All right, that they shouldn't quit. Now, let's talk a little bit about, we're like, well, what do you mean? God can take some bad stuff in my past and use it in a positive way. Listen to something that God talks about in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. It says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies, and God of all comfort, who comforts us in our affliction, so that we will be able to comfort those who are in affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." Now, don't get too confused with those words. Here's all it was talking about. In 1 Corinthians, Paul had written to these people. They were really messing up. And he pointed out, guys, here's all the ways you're messing up. They fixed it. So in 2 Corinthians here, he says, guys, you know what? God is the God of all comfort, and he's given you that comfort. But here's what you can now do. You can flip it now on the enemy. Even though you messed up, you can now turn around and comfort other people who go through the same thing and help walk them through the process of having success. So the bad thing you went through qualifies you to be able to do that. And I want you to think about it. I just wrote down a couple things. I mean, you can pick your poison. There'd be a whole bunch of stuff involved sexually before marriage or abortion or divorce, homosexuality, bankrupt, alcohol or drug addictions or whatever it may be, whether we're talking mistakes, whether we're talking about actual sins. He actually says that when we have had that bad stuff in our past, we become uniquely qualified all of a sudden to be able to help somebody who's struggling with that or being tempted that direction to be able to take them the way that they need to go. And